2. Sorry, I'm probably loud enough, am I? Sorry, thank you. Is everybody okay with that position? Yeah. Okay, great. All right. So is there any other matters any members wish to discuss before we bring in the first applicant?
Just quickly, the oversubscription is what, about 11,000?
Yes, around 12,000.
Yeah.
Okay. So
12,263.
yes. So we're about 10 or 11 short of what's applied for.
So the total amount applied for is.
You don't have that paper, Nigel? Okay, so they're seeking 42,781 and we have 35,180. Yeah, it's a rule of thumb, but yeah. Right, let's begin with the blessing. I shall now invite Patu to read the council blessing on either Te Reo or in English, whichever you prefer, Patu.
Cool, me. As we deliberate on the issues before us, we trust that we will reflect positively on the communities we serve. Let us all seek to be effective and just, so that with courage, vision, and energy, we provide positive leadership in a spirit of harmony and compassion.
Thank you very much. I call for apologies. I have received an apology from Jennifer Turnbull. Were there any other apologies?
We've also received one from Councillor Glenn Cooper.
We've received one from Councillor Glenn Cooper. So it's 2 apologies. All right. I'd like to move that they be accepted. The seconder is Michelle. Thank you, Michelle. All those in favour? Thank you. Apologies are accepted. Declaration of interest relating to items on the agenda. Do any members have declarations of interests to declare at the meeting? Right, I have one. I declare an interest in application 114 under the title of, in other words, Otaki. The reason being I'm a member of their committee. I have no pecuniary interest here, but being that close to the project, I declare an interest and I've had no part in the preparation of their application. And Nigel will ask you to chair for that particular applicant, which is just after the break. Everybody happy with that?
Yep.
As chair, I bring item 6, members' business, forward in the meeting to be dealt with now. Members' business being leave of absences, any request for a leave of absence, or any matters of an urgent nature. There being none, thank you. So we can commence our public speaking time with a couple of minutes to go. Let's bring in our first applicant, who is Bryony, and she's coming in via Zoom. Ms. Bryony Rogers. Is she, do we know if she's here? Might take a minute for her to come live. So here we are, and with this we're of course live on stream, everybody noting. Bryony, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Great, and we can see you. Presumably you've got a picture of our meeting room as well, so.
Yeah, I have, yeah.
Right. Well, look, welcome. You're our first applicant this morning. The creative writing gathering, you've got 5 minutes to talk a little bit more about your application, and then the committee will ask you some questions. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's absolutely fine, yeah. I'm really passionate about this project and about the creative writing group that I've been working with over the last year with your support, and I'm very, very keen to continue it and to develop it into a new level. I have noticed that the group is really providing a very important facility within the community as a whole, because when I have advertised about it and let people know about it, there's always been lots of people gathering interest and expressing interest for it. The participants who are deeply committed and come regularly every week are really learning through the space that I've created and the support that I'm giving to take their writing more seriously, and they are doing things like applying for national poetry competitions as a result of being in the group. So um, you'll see on the application a number of testimonials from some of the participants who are in the group, and they are very committed to the continuing of the group. So I'm really keen to ask for support to continue that.
Right, thank you. So,
And I've got lots more things I could tell you, but I'm aware of the time.
well, we'll see how we go. You've still got a few minutes, but
Okay, yeah. So I wanted to say that what people have come back to me and expressed that they're getting from this group is a real sense of community as a writer and developing and taking themselves seriously as writers. And they're also getting technical support, input, and I bring a lot of my experience in my own writing and my also the awareness that I have of different writing experiences and different writing competitions and opportunities. So I bring all of that to the space, and each week we come along and I give prompts, and there's a real community sense there that is very inspiring for everyone who's part of it.
right. I'll ask the committee if they have any questions. Councillor.
I'm Marina. Bryony, how many people participate in this?
Well, it's there's a regular group of about 8 people, and there's a wider group of 12 to 14 of people who come and go a little bit, but generally there's a regular group. Is it 9 actually? Sorry, 9 people.
Thank you.
And they are all people who have been coming now for 2 terms, which is the time that I've had the funding from yourselves.
And you're extending that to 3 terms this time.
Yeah, well, I'm doing so. The funding that you gave me enabled me to run the session through till April. I'm abroad at the moment in England, spending some time with my father who's unwell. I'm running an online version of the course now, of the group now, which is a third version of that. Yeah.
I'm looking at the background to your picture, Bryony, and reconciling that with the fact you're in England. So, it's
It's a virtual background.
not the England I know. Anybody else?
It's not.
Question, Michelle.
Hello there, Bryony. Michelle Scullion speaking.
Thank you.
Hello.
I would like to know, just a very general question. How do you what's the word? How do you get the people involved from Kapiti? How do you
Recruit?
recruit's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, how do I recruit people? So as I mentioned right at the beginning, when I've done it on social media mainly, and also I did get some posters printed, and I've allowed in the budget to do that again in September. What I've done when I've done like a post on Facebook in the local group and things, I have had quite a lot of people commenting and being in touch from that, and not always has it worked out for them practically to join, but there's definitely interest in that way. I also have a lot of connections with the Kapiti Coast in the local radio, the group that's working with them, and Sonia Foibes, who you funded also to run the writing what was it, the Kapiti poems on the coast that met in the waterfront bar. I've I'm connected to the local writing community and have had access to people for the group through that, but also through publicity.
Thank you.
Great. Yeah. Questions? Anybody else? Bryony, I'd just like to ask quickly about your ticketing. You've got 4 different levels of ticketing and a different number suggested for each. Is that enabling your participants to purchase different levels of participation? Is that where that comes from?
That's a really good question, and I'm sorry that it doesn't look necessarily clear. Let me explain how it works. So basically there's 2 ticket structures, one of $5 a session and one of $10 a session, which is to do with a concessionary rate and a full rate. So basically the 4 prices are when people pay for the term and when people pay individually.
Right.
In those 2 structures. So some people pay for the term and pay $50 a term. Some people pay for the term and pay $100 a term.
Right. Very quickly, last question. I suppose one of the difficulties in running your course is knowing how long a person should stay with you for. Like, how wide do you go or how deep? How do you make those decisions?
Yeah. Well, the structure at the moment is that, like I say, I have these 8 people who are very committed and one more who comes and goes a bit. And yes, how long do people stay? What people tend to do, we have had someone who's been and now has stopped. It depends on people's lives in general. And often people come along with a particular project that they're wanting to work on, that people have kind of kept that going. So it's definitely got a lot of life left in it in terms of developing and supporting the community with a creative writing space and creative writing education and creative writing support.
Right. Okay.
In terms of the way that people come along to the course and what they bring and what they get from it.
Yeah. Question, Michelle.
Hi, Derek. Can you hear me? Oh, I'm off. Red. Hi, sorry about that. It's the usual story. Lots of people want money for not as much money that we can give. If you weren't fully funded, how would that affect your campaign and your whole project? Would it affect you at all?
It would be absolutely possible for me to rejig things and I would do more advertising, and there's definitely room for the group to be quite a bit bigger, and I would make it work if I wasn't fully funded.
Thank you.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bryony. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, thank you all for your time and for your interest in the project, because like I say, it does benefit strongly a number of people.
Right. Good. All right.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Yes. All right, everybody. Bryony's going to disappear and we're back. We have our next applicant waiting, which is great. The Kapiti Women's Health Collective. Louise, is that you? Come on forward.
Good.
If you have a colleague with you, she's welcome up the front as well, or is that someone else? Okay.
I didn't bring a colleague today.
That's okay. The Kapiti Women's Health Collective Have a Go program.
Yes.
Away you go.
Thank you. Just wanted to say, if Catherine want to join us, you're more than welcome to join us at the Women's Centre.
I can give you all the support you need.
Okay, thank you. Kia ora, everyone. My name is Louise. I'm the manager for Kapiti Women's Centre, which is just located not far from here. We've been operating since 1988, so we've been around for a while and serving the community at large. So today's funding is looking at, we've applied for the Creative Community Funding, which contributes towards the creative arts that we have running at the Women's Centre. It's a very popular course that runs every term, and we get high intake of women registering to participate. I believe that we submitted some photos of some of the work that has been done in the past. If anyone wants to see a hard copy, I've got some copies here. Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, Louise. Good.
We've continued to keep the cost quite relatively low, so to remove any barriers or restriction for anyone that might be interested in participating. We have, in the last few years, increased the material cost just to reflect the cost of things in today's environment. But the course is still relatively manageable for a lot of our women to access and participate in. We get a large intake of women wanting to try their hands, and some of them come back and try something new. A lot of the items they make can end up in as a gift for family members or for themselves. It has been put to me in the past whether we could potentially ask these participants to come back and showcase their creative work and maybe do some fundraising. That's something we're exploring with some of them. Even though a lot of their work is quite creative, some of them are still quite shy and a little bit resistant or reluctant to actually have it on display for the public. But that's something we're working on at the moment. Thank you.
Well, does anybody have any questions for Louise? Councillor.
Thanks, Louise. Thanks for coming. Yeah, I'm your honorary architect, of course. 15 years ago, we did that big extension, the
Yes,
big
that's right.
community room there.
Yeah.
And it's been well utilised. How many people would attend this
course?
Yeah.
So we run a few over the term, but we usually get up to 12. Is one of our well sought after. So we could have up to from 8 to 12 participants in the room. Yeah.
Great.
Sometimes slightly more. I might chuck in the extra one if someone really needs it and wants it and can attend. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. And do you say some of them return?
Yes.
And
Yes.
get stuck in?
Yes.
Oh, that's really great. And you didn't have any leaks during the other night?
No, no leaks at all. So that's good. Thanks, you. Thank you.
Other questions? Michelle?
Sorry. Congratulations. I think it's fantastic. My ears really pricked up when you said about fundraising, because I think I really applaud that. And I really applaud that you're honest that some shy people there that are too scared to show their work. When you are seeking funds, look, as another creator of the community, I know how difficult it is. What directions do you go in to try and help? I mean, I think your budget's pretty good, but I also understand that there are costs involved.
Yes.
What directions are you trying for with fundraising? It's a tricky question, I know that, but I'm curious. Yeah,
it is a tricky question. We try as much as we can to reduce the costs in terms of not overspending, first, and then we've looked at the fees we're charging the women, and ethically in terms of how we can make sure we're not restricting certain people. Then from there, we've looked at the fundraising ideas. Could some money come in from the women that are participating in terms of showcasing their work? Like I said, it's ongoing process, but where we fit in the shortfall is when we get a generous fundraising activity done by a member of the community that are happy for us to spend it where it needs to go, then I sit there and watch, explore the budget and see whether part of that could be used towards the shortfall from courses like this.
I mean, there's a lot of sports groups who sell a lot of sausages, and I'm not saying that that's what the women's group should do at all, but it does seem logical to me if there's a way that you can raise the. I mean, I with the arts trail, I go to other and I see, and it would just seem logical to me that these people are making things that are gorgeous. That if there was a way that they could somehow be making money off their own work to to keep investing.
Yeah.
I encourage that,
Yeah.
but I do respect the fact that people are shy.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Louise? I have a couple of things, Louise. You answered the previous question about 12 attendees, but you actually run 4 sessions because you put 42 attendees in your application.
Yeah.
So it's 12 per, and then there's 4 of them. Is that,
Yes,
have I
that's
got that
correct.
right?
Yeah, we run a
Right,
few
okay.
over the years. Yeah.
Well, I read the information you attached. I think the Kapiti Women's Health Collective is an absolutely fantastic organisation. Sadly, 690 refuge referrals a year, 14,000 visits or contacts. I imagine 99% of the women. Population of this part of Kapiti is about 30,000, half of women. So it gives you an idea of the degree of penetration your organisation has, which is absolutely phenomenal. So thank you for your application.
Thank you.
One thing I did read somewhere in your notes, the women who participate in this, actually it leads on to other things, doesn't it? This is
It does.
almost the how rather than the why. Does that make
Correct.
sense to you?
Yes.
You're using this in order to pull them in, give them something, and their confidence grows and they go on.
That's right.
Is that stepping stone idea?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get that clear.
Thank
you very much.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, kia ora. I'm Pasu. I just wanted to ask if you know, just because it's kind of a question that we're going to ask a lot of the groups, is just that if we were to only partially fund you, like what would that look like in terms of your ability to carry out the project?
The most obvious things that come to mind would be potentially not being able to run 4 in the year. That will be the obvious place to go, but then I will always look at, well, if we can do that, then how can we I'll try and avoid that as much as possible.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Because as you can see with all the creative stuff, it's quite popular and a lot of people apply to participate in it. At the moment, increasing the price won't be an option, but we're actually looking at, well, what can we run and how can we ensure that we've got the courses out there that everyone enjoy attending every year.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Everybody happy? Thank you for coming in, Louise.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good day.
Thank you.
Coast Access Radio, Catherine. Welcome, Catherine.
Hello. Hello there.
Thank you for coming.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Where you go with your 5 minutes.
Super. So, for those who don't know, Coast Access Radio is a charity organisation, partly sponsored by New Zealand On Air. So, we then seek sponsorship and support from other groups to help the radio station continue. So, not a commercial station. So, the Creative Community Scheme would provide vital funding for us to keep encouraging local artist activities. So we've been proud to actually been doing this program for a little while for our audio arts program. It's called Focus on Arts, and it's been increasing since we've been podcasting the show. The program offers a unique platform for artists, musicians, poets, creatives, galleries, exhibitions, anyone really, providing them with 30 minutes of broadcast time, which is it's a decent amount of time for people to talk about their actual projects, what they've been doing, what they're doing to promote them, their creative journeys, what it's like to be an artist. And it could be a musician, it could be poet, it could be the brass band, it could be anyone really who does anything. Sculptors. We have Mahara Gallery in quite often as well on the Focus on Arts programs. We had the local director from the movie that has just opened, The People We Love. We had them in to chat as well. So it's pretty broad. So it's basically anyone who's creative or their creativity enriches us here on the Kapiti Coast. And as you know, there's many of them. We have many artists here. So once they do the interview, we then podcast that through the website, through New Zealand On Air, through Spotify and through Apple. So they get quite a bit of exposure. All of these things, of course, come to a cost for us, but we don't charge the artist. It's a free service for them. We know how hard it is to be an artist. So we take that on board ourselves. The only limit for people coming in is their imagination. And if they're local to Kapiti, sometimes we speak to people overseas as well, if that's of interest. But certainly if their work holds significance to our region, that's where about 98% of the conversations come from. The diverse range of guests that we've had, we air very first songs sometimes from musicians who don't have anywhere else. It's pretty hard for a muso to get anything out there. So we're quite happy to have them in, if they can sing. We have a bit of a listen first. We don't want to put too many people off. But they've all been amazing, fantastic. And the excitement of someone who's just heard their song for the very first time played over the radio is pretty cool. So we've had some amazing results there as well. So through the program, we want to keep that program going, obviously. We're not just promoting the individual, we're helping weave a bit of a vibrancy through Kapiti as well. We're pretty proud of the artists that we have here. So we like to think that we're fostering pride, inspiring creativity and strengthening the bond between our community and its artists. And we've first started off trying to put about one program every 2 weeks out, but at the moment we actually have a queue of people waiting, so we've been putting out a weekly show, and we hope that continues. But I've been fairly conservative with the figures. You'll notice actually that I've put, I didn't write it in, but there's a discount that we put on the edit and production, which I'm better at radio than I am at filling out forms, can I say? So that fee looks slightly different. I've taken about $400 off that fee for editing and production, because we often have some people come in and want to help us do that as well. So we figured we'd pass that on.
Thank you, Catherine. Questions for Catherine?
Yeah, kia ora.
Kia ora.
My name's Patu. I was just wondering, do you have like a list of the artists already that you're going to be having on your...
Who's coming up?
Yeah, who's coming up? Yeah, and
Yes.
also just like how do you find those artists and how do they find you?
Yeah, it's kind of word of mouth a little bit, or we look through what's been happening in the we look through KCDC a lot actually, what's been happening. Mayor Janet Holbrook will also tell us what's happening. We'll go to, especially if we get approached by production companies as well and publicists to say this is coming up, and if we think they're valid or local and it's not too businessy. If it's too businessy, it's like you're trying to get free advertising from us, so we sort of steer away from that unless you want to sponsor us, and they generally say, no, we're just looking for free stuff. So we say, well, maybe you go to the commercial station and pay for it, in a very nice way, and then often they will try and help us out. Sometimes they might pay for an interview. So coming up, we've got someone who's been in before and has got a new book out, and I think it's about wine or something fabulous like that. We've got someone else. We have people who come back who do different things, and it does seem to be word of mouth. We'll get information from other people, we'll source it, we'll look through papers, we'll see what's happening, and publicists come to us. Yeah.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah.
Great. Tell us a little bit about Access Radio. How are you funded? How do you earn a living as a radio station?
Yeah, so we're supposed to be around about the 60-70% funded by New Zealand On Air. At the moment, we've had staff shortages, so they're funding a lot more of it because we haven't got the staff to pay. So we have to go and find advertising. So there's a little bit of advertising, but it's mostly sponsorships, grants, and applications for funding.
Right.
Yeah.
And your podcasts or your streams went from 256 to 1,400 in 1 year.
Yeah, and that would have gone up even more.
Which is phenomenal.
Yeah.
What do you attribute that success to?
Well, firstly, getting them out there. So when I first arrived at Coast Access Radio, they weren't doing that. They were it was just radio. But radio's changed. So people want to listen to what they want to listen to when they want to listen to it. So it's great to have the radio on in the background, but you may not sort of pick things up. So to podcast, it means that we advertise maybe on Facebook, or people who run the shows or in the shows, they spread out the link to all their friends, and that increases it, and you can subscribe. So then when the next show comes up, you listen to that. So that's kind of how it sort of spreads basically through social media. But we do also find that's then they share it to friends overseas. We've got people listening in now from all sorts of places, from Ireland, from Australia, from all sorts, because of podcasts.
And do the artists report back? I mean, it's a great offer to them. I think you're doing them
Yeah.
a great service. Do they report back on the success of this?
They often come back and want to do another one.
Do they?
Yeah, so we find that pretty successful. Yeah.
That's a good
Or
thing.
they're like, oh, my mum listened to that, or such and such listened to this, or people turn up to certain events. So that's really nice that they actually get the support and people listen and go, so it helps.
You're asking us to fully fund you. Have you considered charging the artists a modest fee?
We have. Coast Access Radio hasn't been great at charging because I think because we're a charity, we know how hard that is to come up with money ourselves.
Yep.
We have started, since I've taken over the station, we have started to ask for little bits of funding from people, especially if they are somehow supported by a business. So that is starting. I haven't, we don't want to at this stage charge the individuals coming in for an interview, but we're looking maybe for a sponsor of the actual show. That seems to work quite well. It's pretty cheap advertising for a business if they want to sponsor a show and they get a mention at the beginning and the end of the show and also their logo. So we're looking at that rather than maybe asking the artists
Yep.
for funding. Yeah.
Okay. And is it, sorry, did you have another question?
Oh, no.
No. Is it scalable? I mean, can you do less or more? Obviously, you've got 20 involved, so you could do 10, you could do 30. I mean,
Yeah, we've actually increased the number that we're doing. I put that as a conservative number because what if we run out of artists? So I'd hate to ask for a certain amount of money and then we produce less.
Right.
So I've been fairly conservative, and as I've done that, more people are queuing up to come and do the show. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping that so we can scale it. When it's really busy, we can even run 2 shows a week. We can find space in the broadcasting calendar to do that. But at the moment, I'm trying to limit it to about 1 a week.
Yep.
But at the moment, I've based figures on 1 every fortnight just to be conservative.
Right. Any other questions for this applicant? Anybody? No? Matt, Michelle, you got one?
Have I pressed the right button? I have. Hi.
Hi, Michelle.
Congratulations. You've got one less letter in your surname than me. I have an O after the I.
Oh, you're a scullion.
Yes, I am. Nice to meet you. I've never heard of a scullion. There we
There's
go.
not many of us.
That's right.
Yeah.
I
Thank
think
goodness,
your-
probably.
I think your costs are actually quite amazing. If you can make a show at $100 a show,
Yeah.
that's incredible.
Yeah, they're normally about $200-300 if you want to go into a studio.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of my business, so I really understand what you're doing. And
Yeah.
how long is a show to produce? How long does it take? Because you have the interview,
Yes.
and I support that artists don't have to pay to play.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And so you have the interview, but then you've got production. So how long does it take to do a show?
Yeah. Depends on the artist. If they stumble a lot, if they cough, etc., takes them a little bit longer. If I'm editing the show, it takes about 10 minutes
Yep.
because I'm pretty quick.
Yep.
If I have one of our technical people to do it, it takes them about maybe half an hour, maybe an hour. And then we've got to wrap it up and produce it. We've got to schedule it. We've got to import it.
So it's a couple of 2 to 3 hours all up.
Can
a
be,
show.
yeah.
That's amazing. For
Yeah.
$100 and then 50. I
pretty
applaud-
good.
I applaud you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
We have to do it on a bit of a shoestring. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, interesting about the name. Whenever I meet you, I think, oh.
Yes. Good.
Yes. Okay.
Oh, great, I hope.
Yes. Catherine, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, one more, Nigel?
Just press your
Right, thank you. Yeah, this is excellent, Catherine. I listened to the Cohen Holloway interview,
Oh, yes, Cohen.
which was just superb. And just on the other side of any suggestion that the artists themselves might pay to be on, Cohen Holloway is the guy that you would pay to be on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of the people, the quality of the people that are being interviewed on this show are the sort of people that if they're doing a stand-up, you would be paying them serious money. So this application, I have to say, I have a little bit of bias because I'm a bit of a fan of public radio anyway. But it strikes me that this is fundamental to why this committee's here. You know, this is the arts, and it supports that. So congratulations, I think it's fantastic. I think you should have applied for more.
Actually, you should be our publicist. When you're talking about Cohen, so if you don't know, does anyone not know Cohen Holloway? So if you, he's been in Hunt of the Wilder People. He's a stand-up comic. He was in Boy. So he's in a lot of movies. Yeah, so mates of his. And so when you were saying about how do people come back? So Cohen, we were surprised that when we got him at all, and he's so fun. He comes and does a stand-up routine just walking in the door. So he did one show and he went away and he said, well, that wasn't enough. We have to do another one. So we did another one with him. So that was 2. And then we did another one because he's got a health problem, an unbelievable health problem with some cancer, brain cancer. So he was happy to come in and talk about that with us, which was like, it's the most amazing story. Then he's coming back to do a live show with me, which could shut down the station, to be fair. He's pretty funny. No, it won't. But, so that's 4 instances of coming to us to have a chat. And also the people we love, he's not new to TV or film or anything. So Mike Smith came in and had a great time with us. So it's, I'm probably not pushing our boat big enough, but it's, I don't know, artists don't do that, do they, really? Should. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Great. Any other questions? One more, Michelle.
Can you hear me? Yes. This is a technical thing, and I'm embarrassed to say it, but I only live down the road from the station, and I have real problem getting it on air, and I listen to the radio all the time.
Oh, okay.
Seriously, what can I do about that? I'm not that far away from you, and it disturbs me because I want to listen.
Can you get other stations?
Yeah.
I don't know why you wouldn't get ours.
I know, I agree. And
do you stream it? Can you
believe it or not? I know this is not the right arena to discuss it. It might not be, but to me it is, because you need to know that.
Yeah.
And your radio needs to know that it's not always out there. Believe it or not, I sometimes can't even get national radio, and I'm only just over there.
Yeah, it's a transmitter, so it's a big transmitter up on the hill.
Above me.
Above you, is it? Yeah, there's a couple of spots where you can't. So the only thing I'd suggest, that's where podcasts come in. Yay!
Yeah.
So
good answer.
Or streaming if you can get it on your computer would be what we suggest. Yeah.
Thank you.
Great.
you.
Look, thanks again.
Thank you.
Okay. Right. Our next applicant, I think, is here. Wonderlight Theatre Aotearoa, Dr. Karen Palmer. Welcome.
It's a bit stuck. Kia ora. Hi, how's it going? Thanks for having me.
There you go.
Kia ora. My name's Kieran. I'm here on behalf of Wonderlight Theatre, Aotearoa. I am also the National Director for PAPER, which is Performing Arts and Young People, Aotearoa. And we are a group that sort of advocate for and support and promote performing arts for young people. And I just wanted to start with saying we believe at the moment that the sector is in crisis. I've done quite a lot of media about this recently, a lot of ranting about the Creatives in Schools program being dropped and the fact that we've lost Capital E now. We've lost a huge amount of performing arts for young people, and with young people opportunities. I believe that we're at risk of a whole generation growing up without quality access to performing arts. So part of my own personal kaupapa is that I run a company called Wonderlight Theatre Company. We're a not-for-profit company, and there are 2 sides to the company. One is that we make quality theatre for children, and the other side to the company is that we mentor in emerging theatre makers. So we have a whole kaupapa where we mentor and we have professionals mentoring in young people to make the work. The Home Inside is our second production. This is our final updated, I can send it around, I don't know, our updated flyer, which we've just done. Thank you. We've managed to get a little bit of money to make the show. So we've got some funding from Wellington City Council and Performing Arts Foundation to create the show. My shows take about 2 years to create, so that's a real slow brew method where we take a really long time and we work with children when we create it, so we trial it with children at every stage. But we really want to bring it to the regions this year as well. Again, this is kind of feeding into the whole research that I've been doing around the lack of accessibility for performing arts for young people. So we're doing a season at Bats, and then we're trying to do a little tour to Kāratin, Kapiti, Porirua and Upper Hutt. So it's really important for me that as many children as possible see this. And so really the funding is just to bring it to Kapiti. I know it's a lot of money for 2 shows, but it's really, really expensive to hire. Like, it's kind of shocking. So Sonia Hardy, I actually taught her when she was a 6th former, so I've mentored her all the way through her career. So that's another reason I really want to bring it out here. So really, we just really want funding to cover the cost of putting it on at Kapiti. I've put in for extra because to pay for, we've got to hire a van and things like that, and to pay the actors, but we also have no idea. Normally it's a box office model where we get money from the box office, but we have no idea, because we haven't done it out here, what sort of audience we'll get. We're already marketing it. We think that it will do quite well. Sonia thinks it will do well. But yeah, so really the funding is just to cover that, because we're not funded otherwise, and we're just a bit worried that we'll run at a loss otherwise. So yeah, that's really,
Great.
all.
Thank you. Right. Questions for Kieran? Anybody?
I do, yeah.
Michelle.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was in my first play when I was 8, so I agree with you.
Excellent.
I totally agree with
Yeah.
you. And it freaks me out that
Yeah.
all the performances of schools has gone and Capital E's been cancelled. I've been involved
Yeah.
in all of those
Yeah, no, I
industries.
mean, I think I've worked with you before.
We may have. I can't remember, sorry.
It's all good.
Today
It's
I
a- it
can't.
was a very long
Today
time
I
ago.
can't, tomorrow I might.
It's all good.
Yeah. If the question we do put to a few people, because I think what you're up to is fantastic.
Yeah.
Totally biased.
Yeah.
If you don't get all your funding, how does that affect you? And I'd also think I support Sonia that you are going to do well up here.
Yeah, yeah. We will probably do it anyway. We'll probably take the risk.
I know.
One of the things with having some funding is we can keep the ticket prices low, so we're keeping them at 15, which, to be
Good
honest, is Children's Theatre has been at 15 since I went to Capital E about 15 years ago. So
It's a reasonable price.
yeah, so that's part of it. We may have to put the price up slightly if we don't get the funding. We're probably going to do it anyways and take the risk, just because I really believe in it. I really think it's important. And I do, and yeah, I think it will do okay.
I do too.
So yeah, but it's just a little bit shocking. Both here in Carterton, it's $1,600 for the day, which is just a lot of money when you're charging $15 tickets. Yeah,
Unfortunately, it is a business.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I agree. Yeah,
And I agree
yeah.
with you, however,
Yeah.
it is a business.
Yeah, so that's why we apply for funding. For example, at Upper Hutt, they do whatever we earn, they take a share on, so it's sort of less risky for the artist. But yeah, it's all good. We understand that it's a business as well.
Good luck.
Thank you.
I hope to remember, and I'd like to.
Well, you need to come. Yes, you need to come.
Long
Yes.
Yeah, okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Any other questions for Kieran? A couple of things from me.
Sure.
The quote you got from Sonia set out the costs for 2 performances. You're having 2 performances within Te Raukura,
In the same day.
In the
yeah.
same day,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes.
and you've estimated 350 tickets sold,
Yeah.
and
Might
so
be a
that's
bit more.
across the 640
Yeah,
odd seats.
yeah.
So
We tend to budget on a 30% box office model, so that's usually what we do.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so it's probably a little bit higher, but yeah.
and so you're going to Bats first, is that
Going
right?
to Bats, we're doing 2 weeks at Bats.
And
yes.
then it's us? And- or is it Wairarapa
Let me
or
just figure it out. Then it's Upper Hutt,
Upper Hutt?
Wairarapa, and we got some creative communities to cover that fee from the Wairarapa because it's very similar. And then Sarakura, and then we're going to do some 2 shows in Pātaka. We're going to do them for, they're going to give us the venue for free if we don't get funding, and then we'll just do $5 tickets in Porirua. We're just kind of trying to balance the demographic there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing that struck me about your application, and you've got it here on the poster, a play for children about emotional resilience. One of the things, is a personal story really, but when I was 9, an art teacher visited our primary school, and one day, and that was enough. That triggered me into the arts for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And 9 was a long time ago.
I know. I if you're interested, I did a big interview on Radio New Zealand on Sunday. I got a little bit kind of like, because I'm presenting a petition to Parliament at the moment around creatives in schools for exactly that reason.
Right.
So yes, please sign it.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, because it's for exactly that reason that arts are so important and valid. And at the moment, this worry that this generation are not going to have this access to it, and then they're just not going to have those experiences.
Yes.
And we're not going to have an audience of the future. We're not going to have creators. So yeah,
Yeah.
I feel quite passionately about it, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah,
You
but that's
haven't-
a lovely story. Thank you.
You haven't shown ticketing costs or publicity costs in your application. Presumably that's because you're underway. And
We are underway, and also we've sunk those in from the money we got from Wellington City Council and Performing
Right.
Arts Foundation.
Right.
So
Okay.
it's because we're doing the publicities overall.
Yeah.
So what happens with the Kapiti one? It's not a big jump or cost to just take what we're doing for bats and then bringing it out. But we have a really, really good marketing person, so.
And if you, well, the way your ticketing works, could you compress the full audience into one performance?
Yes, and that's definitely something that will be a decision, I think, that Sonia will make, depending on ticket sales.
But that
So,
doesn't
yeah.
necessarily reduce your theatre hire cost. because
It's
you've
still a
got to-
day hire.
Okay,
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
I understand.
yeah.
Right. Any other questions from anybody?
Yeah, kia ora, my name's
Yeah.
Patu. Sonia actually tutored me when I was in high school, so it's lovely to meet you. I was just wondering, I'm sorry if it says in here and I forgot it.
It's all good.
Are you looking to perform in the Coastlands Theatre in Te Raukura or in the Sir John Trimmer
Oh
Black
my
Box?
gosh. No, the big one.
The big one, the big 300.
Just I think. Yes, the 300.
Cool.
yes.
Have you considered the Sir John Trimmer Theatre? I'm sure it's
We
probably too
could
late,
do that,
but-
yeah. What we're really hoping is, like, the kind of gap that's missing with Capital E is that big scale theatre. You know, now
Yeah,
that Capital
yeah,
E's lost,
totally.
we've kind of lost that the ability to do lights and sound and AV in a big theatre.
Yeah.
And that's the magic that kids we want them to experience rather than the scale down because we're really low budget.
Yeah, cool.
Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
I
no, that
think
makes
that's what
sense.
we're going to go for. That was
Yeah.
the advice from Sonia. So.
Cool.
Plus, you've got a full fly tower with the larger theatre, so you could have fun with that if you're doing if you're flying sets, you know.
Yeah, we only have a 5-hour package, so I'm not
Okay.
sure.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right. Thank you, Karen. Anybody else? Questions? No. Thank
Awesome.
you very much
Thank you
for
so
coming
much.
in.
Thank you for seeing.
Good. How are we doing for time? Pretty good. Now, the Kapiti Inclusive Dance Class, Sumara. Are you here, Sumara? You next? No, Gavin Coleman's next. Sorry. Gavin Coleman, are you here?
Yes.
Yes, you are. Kapiti BMX. So this is 112. This is application 128, the BMX shed mural.
Hi.
Hi,
Hello.
how are you?
I'm
Now, you've
not-
got some pictures, haven't you, of the shed? Yep.
Oh, great. Yeah, I was going to say I haven't bought anything other than the original application that I sent.
No, that's
in. I
okay.
wasn't-
No,
I wasn't
that's
quite
fine.
sure whether this was a.
That's fine,
You know.
Gavin. We're absolutely fine. It's just that I whipped round there and had a look at your shed just,
Oh,
to
yeah.
make sure I knew what I was asking
Oh,
about.
okay, cool, thank you.
So,
Yeah, it's quite a. The club is thriving really. We're the largest BMX club in the Wellington region. Although having said that, we're a membership of I think just under 60 riders, which sort of then their broader families come along. But we do attract riders from all over the region and all over the country at certain times. And this year we've taken on a lease for that section of the park, which we've never had before. So that gives us a little bit more ownership. And with that, we kind of recognise that some parts of it are quite tired, and we've been going through a broader fundraising campaign where we've got grant funding to renovate the track itself and various parts. However, visually, we've still got this sort of grotty little shed in the corner, which structurally, although it's fine, it really doesn't reflect the sort of the community that we represent. And I sort of put my hand up and said, I will find out and see what I can about brightening that space up, because it's kind of the hub of all our events. Everyone meets there at the beginning for sign in and our briefings, and all the racing runs out of there, and the families sort of gather there. And it's, to be honest, it's more of a social place for me than it is a sporting place, but it's a great community asset, I feel. And I think it just deserves to be brightened up, really, and made to be, and just give it some ownership and to sort of involve some of our younger riders in the design process. Yeah.
So I've just passed around some photographs of the shed.
Sure. Yeah.
I should show you one just to make sure I got the right
Yeah.
building.
Right. Well, it could be a different shed.
Can you just give Gavin a quick look at one of those photographs?
Yeah, that's the one. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So questions for Gavin? Anybody?
Yeah, kia ora.
Hi.
I'm Patu. I don't know how relevant this is all, and this isn't your job to know, but I was just wondering, do you have any idea on like what Tiatiawa, the iwi's involvement is with the park in relation to it, and if they
Not
do?
No, to be
No.
honest, not at that area.
Yeah.
Since I think 1983,
Mm.
the club's been going since 1979, but since '83 we've been on that section. I think it was mentioned in council meetings, sort of the new Kapiti BMX track, 1983, years and years ago, and as part of our sort of overall renovation, because it's really had little done to it other than, well, it's 100% volunteer labour
Yeah.
that's done it. So part of our lease kind of things, we just wanted to tidy it up, make it a even better community asset, because it is open to the public.
Yeah,
all the
totally.
time. You know, we only use it for a few hours a week for 6 months of the year. So
Yeah.
it'd be
Okay.
great
Cool.
to
Because
just-
sorry. I was just going to suggest like I wonder if like the iwi Tiatiawa would be interested in
Yeah.
being a little bit involved, and just
Yeah,
if they have any
excellent idea.
suggestions. But again, I don't know if it's just named after
Yeah.
or if they actually. But yeah. I
Yeah,
don't-
yeah. To be honest, it hadn't even crossed my mind.
Yeah,
I'd been
yeah.
entirely focused on the sort of the
no, totally.
riders and users of it. Yeah.
You've been going since 1979?
1979 used to be the John Dean Cyclery originally, BMX club. Yeah.
I mean, the
Wyman's
course
Farm.
looks in good condition. Has it been recently?
The track.
Yeah, the
Oh,
track.
the
Sorry.
tracks are constantly being worked on. Yeah, we
Yeah.
as a team, as a committee, and as a club, we sort of do 3 or 4 resurfaces each year, and a lot of people presume it's just piles of dirt, but it's actually about 100 mil layer of lime
Yeah.
on top of that, which needs.
The mural on the shed is on the front face where the door is, or on the side? or-
On 2 sides, the front where the opening is, and then down the side towards the shipping container. Yeah,
facing the tennis court area.
facing the tennis court area. Yeah, yeah. So that's what I've got. Theo Araj, I contacted, a local. Although I don't think he's living locally currently, but is a local artist.
Well, in your
quite-
supporting documents, you gave us his contacts, and we looked at his visual work. Did you have a question, Nigel?
Yeah, I mean, I love the idea of blending art and sport. So it doesn't happen very often. So might get some sports people interested in arts as well.
Yeah.
But has Theo said yes, he will do this because he's in
Yes.
some demand, right?
Yeah, Theo said he'd like to do it. Yeah, he grew up around here and knows the space and was really keen, and said it's also not a massive project for him, so fitting it in between other work should be okay.
Right.
Yeah.
The only other thing is that in buildings that are in public spaces, it's not a public building, but they're in public spaces. So does anybody have a say, have a say about the final work that's going to go on there? Given that this is actually going to be...
Do you mean in terms of permissions?
No, it's just that
Or-
this is going to be a piece of public art.
Yes.
Because that's what it'll be, because it's
Yeah.
in a public place.
Yeah.
So it just is like, so the God, what are they called? The public art, the
Public art
panel, for instance.
I've never heard of the public art.
I'll introduce to the concept of the public art panel, so that you could, through council, they could put you in touch with them. It's just that it's not necessarily that they would have to sign anything off, but it'd be, you might want to get some input.
Okay.
there.
Yeah, cool. Thank you.
I see that on his website, Theo quotes $2,000 minimum. He's given you a price for 1,000, which is pretty good. Is he?
I thought it was 2,000. The price.
Oh, didn't your budget say 1,000? Have I got that wrong?
Oh, did it? That must be the price. Yes, sorry. No, that
Yeah,
might be what it
I think you're paying 1,000. He normally charges 2, which is great. And I've looked at his.
I'd have to check that actually. I'm not.
Are you worried about that?
A little.
Well, the sum applied for was 2,300, right?
That's what I thought the quote was. 2,300. Yeah, that's what I'd.
So does that
Is that just him?
That was a flat rate fee, which I then went back and he broke down for paints and travel. It was 2,300 in total, I thought.
Oh, right. I was just talking about his fee. But anyway, no worry.
Okay, yeah. I went to Theo and just said, look, what will it cost to get you here
Yeah.
to paint the shed and the full
Yeah.
as a full
Okay.
package? Yeah.
Have you thought about approaching Rosine for sponsorship?
Theo had mentioned that. I haven't done it yet. I was kind of waiting until after.
Okay.
This,
When you
part
go
of the
into
process.
Rosine and Paraparam, any Rosine shop in New Zealand,
Mm.
the local guy says, here's the number of the woman who looked, she's got national responsibility for Rosine sponsorship
Mm.
right across the
Okay.
country.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
all sponsorship is handled from head office. It's worth trying
Yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely.
because they do help.
Yeah.
It's just a thought.
Yeah, thank you.
And you put down 999 audience
Oh,
in
that
your
was just
application.
what is the audience? Is it
Yeah.
how many people use a public space?
I was thinking if I rushed around there, you could bump it up to 1,000.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, I mean, it varies so much. I mean, we have one, sometimes two major events during the year, which attracts riders from all over New Zealand. A national qualifying event in
Yeah.
February.
Yeah.
So that weekend we'll normally have between 200 and 300 riders,
Yep.
plus families. So we're looking at up to about 900
Yep.
people, probably at least that weekend. But then for the rest of the time, I mean, you can go by there any day of the week at 3:15, and it's full of people using that space, the playground and the track itself. So
Yeah.
yeah. So a number, what's the highest number on the odometer? 9999.
The financial information you sent in showed you have around 15K in the bank.
Yeah, currently.
Would any of that be available to help this project at all?
I'd have to take that back to committee. I know that we've been going through. That's kind of our operating budget, so that pays for, like, we'll do two or three lots of 2,000 or 3,000 lime deliveries each year. We'll pay any repairs to the starting gate, electricity bills. We've just put a new surface on, a new treatment for the surface. That was another $3,000. So I don't know whether that would go through committee to be.
Right.
But if we needed to finish off, I guess.
Okay.
I can only ask. Yeah.
That helps.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
I had a question, two questions actually.
Yeah, sure.
But the first one is pretty simple. I think you've explained it. I was curious about the $200 for travel, but if that's sort of Theo's breakdown, that makes sense
Yeah.
to me now.
Yeah.
That does. My real question is, and I'm embarrassed, where exactly is Percival Street? So where are you? Are you near the tennis
we're on
court?
Yes. We're
Okay.
literally in between the tennis. It's Percival
I
and
have
Donovan
never
Road.
seen the shed.
Yeah,
So
it's
therefore
tucked in the corner.
It's
Yeah.
tucked in the corner.
Yeah.
So I totally applaud, and I hope you're successful.
Yeah.
I totally applaud the idea of, wow,
Yeah.
a piece of art, public art.
All right. Thank you. Yeah.
Any more questions? Okay. Hey, thanks for coming in, Gavin.
Thank
Much
you.
appreciated.
Thanks.
Great. Okay. That's good. Now, Mr. Malcolm Bayliss. Good. Sorry. The Kapiti Coast Photographic Society.
Yeah, good
How
morning.
are you, Malcolm?
Yeah. Kia ora.
Thank you for coming in.
Yeah, thank you for this opportunity of speaking today. I'm the treasurer of the Kapiti Coast Photographic Society, and I'm representing the club for about our upcoming community exhibition, which is called Kapiti in Focus. Now, since applying, we've added 4 more words to the title of the exhibition. We're calling it Kapiti in Focus, Our People, Our Land. The project overview is that it is a photographic exhibition showcasing how our members see the Kapiti Coast. And it's designed to celebrate the people, the land, and everyday life with themes sections on areas such as landscapes, nature, people in their environment, cultural moments, community scenes like maraes, small businesses, and infrastructure workers, even your community events where we have our markets during the weekends. And the aim is to reflect the rich environmental and cultural diversity of our region. I'm sure you all are aware, I think it was in the 60s, last century, that the Kapiti Coast was considered to be the Gold Coast of New Zealand. And we believe that's true. Kapiti Coast is a beautiful region. It's a beautiful microclimate, and we want to, you just have to walk through the trails and walk around the place to see how beautiful it is. Just a bit about the club, just to very briefly. We're a society of 67 members, and we range from our 40s through to our 80s. And it's a wide range of photographic experience of the members, from real beginners who use their mobile phones for photography to experienced national level exhibitors. And we learn together, we share ideas, and we support one another. We run field trips both around the region and outside the region. We run workshops and courses for members, and we also have, it's a funny phrase, but we have regular judge salons, which are where we enter our images, and then a accredited judge would critique the images with improvements. So we have a strong sense of friendship within the club, but also within the wider community. We're well known within the community, especially with our one annual fundraiser, which is the Kapiti Coast Photographers Society calendar. Not sure if anybody here has ever bought one, but we do that annually. So back to the project, the community impact that we believe will happen with this project is it's more about it's about more than just displaying great photography. It's about bringing people together. So not only our club members together to actually create the project, but also the community. As I said, we're going to be photographing local events. And one example is that we've already arranged to photograph the Matariki Hangi at the Kapiti College next month. And we're going to be photographing the lifting of the hangi and also taking part in the celebration. Looking at people at work, small businesses, on the roads, in the marketplace, in the community. Maybe in some of our members are residents of rest homes, so we may even go in there and take some photographs as well. So we want to highlight everyday people and places that often go unnoticed in this region, showcasing the cultural and generational diversity of our region, of the population, and encouraging the wider community connection and bringing out a local pride. So the exhibition is going to be held at the Mahara Gallery in Waikanai, and it's going to be running for a period of 3 months, from November 2025 right through to February 2026. And we're wanting to line up with the beginning of the Arts Trail in November. And we've been told by the convener of the Mahara Gallery that we can expect 6,000 visitors throughout that period coming into the gallery. So it's an exciting time to be able to showcase our work and also the region. So during the exhibition, we're planning to offer free community workshops to our workshops for the community on simple things like cell phone photography and also composition, just the basic stuff. But we're also providing information during the exhibition to encourage new members to join. One of the things that we're trying to do and we're working on doing is trying to attract younger members, and we're in the process as a committee of trying to engage or working to engage with the colleges and doing projects with the colleges. So why we're seeking funding is that we are a not-for-profit group. We're an incorporated society, and mainly funded by member subscriptions and, as I said, our one annual fundraiser. And these help us serve and support our members by means of the activities that we engage in. We subsidise the course, subsidise the workshops and the courses that we run, and also our field trips. And we, of course, we've got the rent of the club rooms that we rent, and the other overheads that we have as a club. So funding for this project would support the professional printing and mounting of for the exhibition, or the images of the exhibition, and also promotion of the exhibition. And we believe a small investment will enable a wide community reach because of its place that we're running the exhibition, and also what we're told the numbers of people that will come through. And we're hoping for a long-lasting impact. This project is really about celebrating the region of Kapiti, sharing creative perspectives and building connections. It's all about inviting the wider community to see their home through fresh eyes. And we'd love your support in bringing this exhibition to life for us in this community. So thank you, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Well, that's very comprehensive, Malcolm. Thank you. Questions? Anybody? Nigel?
Congratulations on getting it into Mahara Gallery. I think that's fantastic. Any of the works going to be for sale?
Yes, it is. I think I mentioned it in the application that we will obviously, for ethical reasons, the photographs of people probably won't be for sale. We'll be going through the usual protocol of getting permissions from the people who are being photographed. But certainly the other photographs that are saleable will be. We're going to have about 40. We've got 40 images that we can have at the Mahara Gallery. So the images will be for sale, and as I mentioned in the proposal, Mahara Gallery takes a 33%. We're looking at giving 33% to the photographer, and we'll have 33% for the club. And so we've done some before my time on the committee. We've done some exhibitions in the past. I think we've sold about 2 or 3, so it's not very many. But should we, they will be for sale. Should anybody want to purchase them?
That's good. I'm trying to encourage Mahara to clip the ticket.
That'll be really helpful.
And also just having just recently viewed another book of Arns Westra, is more social commentary photos from back in the 70s. Most people think of an exhibition, a Kapiti, it's going to be a photographic exhibition. They think you're going to be looking at flowers and trees and sunsets over Kapiti Island, right?
Yeah.
So so this is going to be broader than that, I'm taking.
It is going to be broader than that, yeah. Cool. We've been, as a committee, we've been thinking of, like for example, that hangi next month of the Matariki celebration. We do have some amazing landscape and bird photographers in the club, but there will be 1 or 2 photos there, but it's mainly we want to celebrate the people of Kapiti, the wide, the population, and even events that are happening, and everyday events, as I said, that do tend to go unnoticed. We may even take some photographs of your infrastructure workers from the council that are working in the roads, or and some of those candid photos. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Michelle?
Congratulations with the idea. I think it's fantastic. That was one of my questions. I'll move on because you've answered it. But I'll add to that. Would you be merchandising, like people buy? One of the last exhibitions up there, somebody gave me a birthday card bought from one of the exhibitions because all the photos, or the images, the artwork was turned into little cards. Would you consider that? And my last question is, how big are the actual works? Are they little, or they vary? I mean, $50 is an amazing price.
Yeah.
So therefore, are they tiny wee, or are they?
No, they're sort of the actual matting that'll be about that big.
Yep, that tells me.
Big, and they'll be matted professionally, and the photographs will be the standard.
Good size.
Yeah, good size.
But would you consider making cards as part of the whole making money for the artist gallery in your club?
Yeah, we could do.
Should.
It's been discussed at the committee meeting, but no decision has been made. I mean, we've been at the stage where we've put it to our members, hey, listen, do your photographing now, start it, but yes, it's a great idea.
Yeah.
We will.
I think you should
give it. Yeah. Okay.
And also a calendar of the exhibition. I'm a calendar collector,
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
I really do collect calendars. I love calendars. There's
So
something
you've
about them.
you've purchased one of our
I have.
calendars? Yes. So we're going to be doing it again this year, and there will be some calendars.
I just
on
think
sale.
calendars are works of art in themselves.
They are. Yeah. Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
So you can hear me from here anyway.
Okay.
My name's Patu. It's lovely to meet you.
Kia ora.
And I love your project. I was just wondering if you would mind if I just gave you a little bit of advice on the thank you on your application. I've just noticed that there's a bit of inconsistency about like whether or not there's a tohutoa over the A in Kapiti, like a macron. And I just thought I'd just bring that up just because I know that as a ex-Kapiti College student, I know that they kind of appreciate clarity over just kind of the spelling of Kapiti, and I think it would be really great. The idea of you reaching out to the colleges and having students, I think, come in is a really, really great thing, and I think would be really good for the colleges and their students. So yeah, I thought I'd just bring that up just because I know that, yeah, some organizations just kind of haven't got clarity over like which way they want to spell it, but I know that it's helpful when it comes to just comms with groups. But yeah.
Yep.
I'm ahead.
And that's a good point because on our we're actually in the process of changing our logo.
Right. Yeah.
And we on our website it's been there for years, so we do need to change not the spelling of it. So,
yeah, but it's you know, and I've
but
noticed
it's a small thing, but it's an
Yeah,
important
totally.
thing because
Yeah.
it is cultural. I mean, I love the development of the Maori culture in New Zealand, and I think it's appropriate. So
yeah, cool.
I will bring that back to the committee.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Malcolm, these photographs are sold as essentially one-off artworks. You don't order a print, do you? You purchase the actual item. Is that right?
It will be the artwork, but I'm not sure how we. It won't necessarily be the item on the wall because if they purchase it, then it disappears. So they'll put an order in, and then we'll get the artwork, the print recreated, and then they'll be able to purchase it.
So 10 people might buy the same photograph.
They might do. Yes,
Right.
that's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're anticipating 5 sales from 6,000 people.
Yeah, it's a bit hard. We're basing it on other exhibitions that we've had. We've had the last exhibition we had was in 2022 or some other time, and I believe we did get funding from this organisation here, but it was in the just by the library here in that little side room that's been now repurposed.
Yep.
And I can't. I wasn't part of the club then, but there was very few sales, and it's just that the committee members said that for some reason, it doesn't seem to get sales. So we might be incredibly surprised.
Yeah.
So
And unsold work goes back to the photographer.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, it does.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Malcolm?
Just one.
Councillor?
Thank you. Thanks, Malcolm. Congratulations. Do you have historic photos or just contemporary? And do you cover the whole region, Paikakariki, Raumati up to Otaki? Or is it just local Paparama?
Okay, as far as the region, yes, the whole region we're looking at. We have our members do come from those regions, so we've got members as far as Otaki and to some of them live in Paikakariki. So yeah, we will be covering the whole region. The historic photos, as in you're talking about photos of historic places?
Yeah, like Paparama Airport when it was Wellington International.
Yeah, some of our members might have them. Yeah, some of their members might have them.
Yeah.
We've been talking as a committee about doing some, even approaching the Historic Society and saying, look, some of our members have got photographs. Would you like us to help you? We'll give them to you and that type of thing. So I don't think there will be any historic photos like some of your black and whites from 30, 40, 50 years ago at the exhibition. We're looking at Kapiti now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I look forward to seeing the exhibition.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for coming in, Malcolm.
Yeah, thank you
Yep,
very much.
good.
Thank you for this opportunity. Okay, see you. Bye-bye.
Well, I think we're okay. I think we'll be okay. Now, our next applicant was to be Chloe Willits, who's actually not due for another minute. And we are running ahead of time, so I'm going to ask the committee if you'd like to take the next applicant, which is the one in which I've declared an interest. So Nigel, if you're happy to take the chair, we could have these people next, and then perhaps Chloe would, if she arrives, we could perhaps take her before the break. Is that all right?
Hello, Anne. How are you?
I'm great.
Welcome back. Yeah, excellent, thanks. Anne Fenn, is it?
It is.
Yes. Okay. Welcome. The floor is yours.
Thank you. I have actually prepared a small briefing for you. Ko tuku inonga Fen Gordon, I whānau aho ki Otaki. Kia ora. My name is Fen Gordon, and I'm joined by fellow committee member Anne Chapman. And I'm delighted to have the opportunity to talk with you about our storytelling residency, Te Rereke Te Hua Otaki, or in other words, Otaki. In creating Te Rereke Te Hua Otaki, we were inspired by our own community. Otaki has a special wairua. It's a breeding ground for good ideas and great people. Our small volunteer committee of around 10 residents and 3 students from Otaki College was inspired by the work of Creative Hub Māoriland, the Otaki Kite Festival, Ahu Ahu, which is the Papataya Earth Care Courses and Crooked Veggie Program, the Otaki Summer Camp, and Community Koha Cafe Te Moriha. We wanted to create something that had reciprocity at its core. In our idea, we wanted to imbue the principles of the World Health Organization around the value of art and art making. They note the intrinsic value of art and artists to developing empathy, well-being, and resilience in communities, all attributes that build healthy, strong communities. So our idea focuses as much on community engagement as it does providing relaxed spaces for storytellers to live in Otaki and work across a 10-day residency. Taking as its core these inspirational elements of Otaki, our residencies are designed for storytellers who explore new ways of thinking about people, community, and the environment. We were mindful that artists need space and time to themselves, and that long-term residencies are often not feasible. They're expensive, and even professional storytellers in this country usually have other working roles and commitments. Short-term residencies are rare. We're also aware that our local batch owners often want to contribute to our community beyond their own economic impact of paying rates and local purchases, but sometimes don't know how to do this. Our plan for, in other words, Otaki, matches these two. So in our plan, 5 storytellers from around Aotearoa get space and time to think, to walk on the beach, to work on whatever they choose, to experience Otaki beyond a one-day visit. Their travel to Otaki is covered. This is from the sponsorship from Kelly & Co. We estimated our budget on 3 travelling from Invercargill and 2 driving from within the North Island. They're housed in batches donated by the 5 batch owners, and those are all confirmed. We cover the batch owners' public liability and insurance for 10 days. New World Otaki supply 5 vouchers worth $175 each for storytellers to spend. That means they can meet their own dietary requirements, and we're aware that the New World van delivering groceries makes for a great photo opportunity for news stories. We're in the process of connecting with other Otaki business owners to donate coffee, lunch, and dinner vouchers, along with access to gyms and hopefully the swimming pool. Residency applications opened last Saturday with solid interest. We have 3 independent assessors, all locally based, with strong experience in both art form and assessment. Once successful applicants are finalised, we'll negotiate a bespoke event with each of them, working alongside community organisations for delivery. These events are designed for storytellers to share their knowledge with small groups of like-minded community members. The larger community event is based around a lunch held at the Otaki Memorial Hall on Sunday, the 10th of August. In this, we're delighted to be part of the inaugural Bookmark Kapiti Festival. Te Kura a iwi supply hangi for our audience. If we're successful with our funding, that's what it's put towards subsidising. And this event, while koha, is ticketed to determine hangi numbers. Audience members are moved around, so they're seated at tables where they don't know each other. Icebreaker questions kick off each event at each table, with tables hosted by a storyteller and a committee member. Empathy, well-being and resilience is only built by strong community ties. Knowing each other begins that process. Alongside that, throughout our lunch, the 5 resident stories, along with 5 local storytellers, each tell a story up to 5 minutes in length. And we'll have an MC who keeps everything running smoothly. We're planning this as an annual event. 2025 is definitely a pilot. We'll evaluate, running debriefs with both residents and batch owners and surveying audiences for both the bespoke and larger community event. We aim to learn and to apply those learnings to the 2026 Te Reiki Te Hua Otaki. While we're starting small, in future years we'll look to expand and include other events alongside this. In other words, Otaki is designed as lo-fi, high impact, with enduring positive outcomes for our community. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you. Anne and I are happy to answer any questions.
Great, thank you very much. And Mr. Cofer.
Oh, thank you.
Councillor Cofer,
Hey,
sorry.
congratulations. Are you going to do a little booklet of these stories?
Are we going to do a
5-minute
booklet of these stories?
Yeah.
We're going to
A written-
record the stories. Yes, we're looking.
Good.
So with the Otaki College students who have excellent technical capacity, unlike necessarily some of us, we're planning to record them. We're also planning to record the interactions that happen in the small local events. And what we're aiming to do is to design a QR code so that people who are attending can access that information on their phones, which is mostly how people do it these days. But I know that Anne is interested in recording potentially in other ways.
Turning it into a book at the end of the day.
Excellent.
Transcribing it.
I'll get a coffee. Thank you.
And just for my part, I have to say I think this is an incredibly exciting thing that you've got planned here. I would just like to see you do the same thing for Waikanai. And then the rest of the district as well. The whole residency thing, it's a welcome to Kapiti. We welcome artists as residents. So I think incredibly exciting proposal that you've got.
Kia ora, thank you. Actually, I have a friend who runs a second-hand bookshop in Auckland, and when I ran this by him, because I always like to get external input into what I'm doing, he said, I've got a batch in Riverton where I was born. Can we do it there? It was like, let's get it off the ground here first and let's see how it goes.
I could imagine one of the prime difficulties that you'll have, and I'm not quite sure how you've set the criteria, but I can imagine you will get far more applicants than you have places available for them, especially once the word gets out in the community. Is there any thought to prioritising locals?
There is one space that we are keeping specifically for locals, and we're hoping we've actually said even Otaki storytellers can apply for that, because obviously finding a space if you've got a family at home is important. So yes, and it's quite good to be overwhelmed in the first year. So that'll it's good to have more than less. It's how you message that we're terribly sorry. But we are intending it to be an annual event. So
cool.
Providing it doesn't kill us.
Yeah, well, that's right too. Patu, you have a question?
Some of us are quite old.
Kia ora, korua. My name's Patu Whaere here.
Kia ora.
I just want to firstly give you a massive mihi for this project because it's just so cool, and especially just like the fact that you're going to be working with Māori lands, with Te Karati o Otaki, and also just WRM. I just think that's so cool. I'm really excited to see what happens with this. I just wanted to ask about your application. You said that you will be spending $875 as New World vouchers, but then you also said that you'd be earning $875 as income. I just wanted to confirm, are those the same 5 vouchers or?
Yeah, so it's $175 for groceries for each batch, and I showed it in the budget as income and expenditure because obviously it comes in and it goes out.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense, cool. Ngahi.
Cool, don't appear to be any more questions. Yeah, fabulous project. So thank you. I just should mention, I don't know if Grant's been mentioning it, but we have been there's far more funds sought than funds available.
There
Yep.
always is.
As you know.
As somebody who's once sat around the table with you, I know that, and it's
Yeah.
really hard to determine.
Yeah.
It's the same across all forms of arts funding,
Yep,
so we
for
completely
sure.
understand that. Yeah.
Be a brilliant project. Love it.
Kia ora. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. Chloe, I'm going to vacate the chair so you can talk to Grant. Here we go. So we take Chloe before the break?
Pardon me? Yes, we should. We should be waiting otherwise. Chloe,
Hi. Sorry I'm late. My doctor appointment ran over.
that's okay.
I'm a
We
little bit,
we-
I'm not contagious, but bear with me, please.
we managed to use the time.
I'm not contagious, but I'm a little bit not with it. I will try my best.
That's fine. We used the time productively, so no problem.
Yeah, so thank you for the opportunity to speak about my project. So this is the third year that I've applied for the Creative and Life Writing Workshop for Kapiti Youth. Each year has been more successful, and I have students who want to come back from the first year, so it's really exciting, and it's been amazing to see the growth in the students. And so, yeah, so this is a creative and life writing workshop for Kapiti youth aged 8 to 11. It teaches, encourages and strengthens the writing of students who show potential in creative literacy. At the same time, it will encourage emotional expression through journaling exercises, as we have done in the other two workshops. Students will work towards a book project that utilises creative description tools and celebrates their unique identities. The book will be printed with English and Te Reo translations of each story. Students will also be taught to analyse published text to expand their vocabulary and to focus on using their imagination to think outside the box. In addition, I'll take steps to further extend this teaching of creative literacy within the community by supplying Kapiti's 17 primary schools with the book and a teaching resource to do their own creative piece based off my workshop project. So the workshop's major project this year, we did a book last year which has just been released, and we've had, the students have had sales overseas in the US, and they're excited about that, and all of the royalties go to the students, so that's been exciting for them. So this year, it'll be a major project called What Makes Me, and it's a recipe style book where each student follows a basic writing method and uses descriptive language and creative techniques to create a recipe or a recipe all about them. Each recipe will include the different ingredients that form the young writer, their traits and characteristics, cultural and religious backgrounds, hobbies and passions, and thoughts and feelings. The purpose of this exercise is to show students that once all their ingredients are mixed together, a unique and interesting recipe is created, aka them. My hope is young people will reflect on and celebrate who they are, where they come from, and what makes them special. Equally, this project will help them strengthen their creative literacy skills, tap into their imagination, follow guidance, and expand their vocabulary.
There you go. Right. Chloe, any questions for Chloe from the committee?
Yep.
Nigel.
Yeah, superb project, Chloe. I'm a bit biased because I've seen the other work that you've done. It's just really, really excellent. The if the full funding wasn't available, Grant, I'm probably anticipating Grant here, but if the full funding's not available, would you be able to scale it?
So I would have to increase the fees for students. I'm also aware it's a really hard financial environment, and for a lot of the families too. I don't want those kids to not be able to come, because those kids really gain value from it. But I could, instead of paying for the students to have their own book and the primary schools to have their own book, I could offer it as something that they could purchase, and then they get the free resource. Yeah, or and in saying that, I could boost the numbers of workshop attendees, but I have last workshop was 14, and it was a lot of my energy. I didn't have quite enough to be able to give, the extent that I wanted to the kids. So 10's ideal, but if it came to it, I mean, I could even try run 2, but yeah.
Yeah, cool. Great project.
Thank you.
Michelle?
Yeah, it is a good project, and it is a lot you're seeking for a good project. Yeah. Have you thought of, if you can't be fully funded here, have you thought of other areas in Kapiti that you could approach to contribute towards your budget?
No, I actually haven't, not yet.
It's not a bad idea to think there are other areas you could go to, because I think what you're trying to do is fantastic.
Thank
no
you.
question.
Yeah, the students want me to do it ASAP, so I need to get onto it quite quickly. But I will look into that.
Yeah, I recommend you do. And I mean, who knows? Think outside the square, even go to Rotary, go to some of those other people. They do book fairs, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like a K here and a K there can help.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I wish you luck because it's very good.
Any other questions for Chloe? Well, Chloe, I thought your application was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, thank you.
I think your project is fantastic. And this concept of using the language of cooking, what makes me, the ingredients, the recipe, then you go on to teach them the language of cooking, so they've got the tools to write about that. You're looking at the Te Reo translation, the school involvement, you produce a book. It's a very, very, to me, thoroughly thought through process. And the struggle I have with this is the cost, simply because if we funded you to the full amount you're asking, we could only find 5 people. We could only fund 5 applications out of our 18 or whatever it is.
Oh, okay.
So it's a lot of money for us. Also, looking back in the past at what we funded you, it doubled last time, and you're asking us to almost double it again.
Yeah, I ended up spending a lot more time on self-publishing the kids' book to a high degree for them, and a lot of after-hours time. And I also need to be able to produce something that is so thorough. I need to be able to cover my hours as someone that is the only person that pays the bills at home too. So to be able to do it, I do put a lot of effort into it.
You give them a lot.
Yeah.
They get a really cracker deal. I mean, their parents should be over the moon.
Yeah.
I believe. So I've thought about this, and I think you're just too good to come to us alone.
Yeah.
There's got to be someone else. If I were in charge of everything, I would put you in every school in Kapiti District and get you to run that course. So we can't necessarily manage all of you, but somebody should. You need help, and it would be money well spent. That's my belief. But I think your application was first rate.
Thank you. If you have any suggestions other than lions, I'm open to it.
Well, I think we should give it some thought, because there'll be others out there that see the value in this, I'm sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Chloe? Or? Patu. Here you go. Yep.
Kia ora, I'm Patu Whaere here. I'm sorry if you've already mentioned it, but I was just wondering, how are you going to go about translating the stories into Te Reo Māori?
Yeah, so I have some connections. So Carl Weber said that he has reached out to ask some of his local connections if they're happy to, and they said to give him a call. I also have a friend, he's based in Te Tahi Bay, though not local, but he's studying Te Reo, and he said he'd want to do it to boost, for free, to kind of have that work experience. But it would be nice to keep it local.
Yeah, but you know, however you can.
Yeah, but it would be really nice to include both, because I think it needs to represent all of Kapiti, and
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Ka mihi.
Just one last tiny point, Chloe. It must be difficult for you to decide to go how wide you go, like how many children you involve and how deep you take them. In other words, how long you keep them for. That must be a challenge to you. Like, if a child shows real potential, it's not the time to drop them. How do you manage that in your
they
thinking?
usually just go on to college, and they seem ready. I've had a few who have just gone on to college, and they seem to grow a lot from 11 to even 12. yeah, their confidence. I still keep in touch with some of them
Yep.
through email, but yeah, that would have to be something that would be introduced to colleges. But yeah, I've had comments from their parents saying that their confidence has grown a lot and their
Yes.
grades have gone
Yeah.
up too. So just to even be able to leave them with that is fulfilling.
Okay.
Mm.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Now, should we close the meeting for the break? Is that what we do? Yes. So can I declare the meeting closed for our break? And we'll come back at past. That gives us the 20-minute break programmed. But our next applicant isn't due to past because we've already had one that was scheduled for 20 past. All right?
Hey, by the way, you know in the back book, the Maori word, Manawhine